All right, quick look to see what's been happening on the markets today. The local market closing slightly in the positive. In fact, the old share just about 0.25% in the green. MTN leading the gains, 3.3% in the green. Platinum miners were down today. David Shapiro from Sasfin Securities, thanks indeed for your time. I mean, look, before we get into today, I mean, if you were a diversified investor on the JSE, you wouldn't be complaining. We've had quite a good run on the back of China loosening up in recent sessions.
No, the JSE is brilliant. You know, it's at an all-time high. And the reason for it is that so many of the businesses that are listed on the JSE do not do business in South Africa. They haven't got operations here. So if it's a Richemont, if it's a Naspers or Process, and I'm referring to Tencent in that state, in that situation. And then we've got all the commodity producers where most of the mines are outside of South Africa. So that's kept us buoyant, and you know, it's a big story. China's opening up is a big story. Not only does it bring more consumers back onto the market, but it also eases supply chains in that Chinese factories will open up. So a lot of positives around that. But Devin, I'm having trouble understanding the bottom end of our market, you know, where I'm quite concerned that the build-up of, you know, this huge negative build-up that we're seeing is going to play out into some of the smaller and medium companies here on the JSE, and, you know, reflect on consumer wallets and reflect on the retail sector and, you know, other service sectors as well. We haven't seen that. We're seeing a little bit of it in the rand at the moment, and in our bond rates. They are weakening against the trend of the rest of the market, but so far it hasn't played out as bad as I thought it would.
Yeah, let's just expand on that a little bit, because you would look at the retailers, the Pick and Pays, the ShopRite, so forth. The banks are down today. That's your local stocks. And you would think, well, just given the devastation of the power crisis, you know, they would feel some hurt, because they're operating in an economy that's largely sinking because of this crisis. Why, again, I mean, why aren't you really seeing those stocks being affected as much as you would imagine?
I think because the results or the numbers that we're seeing are historic, you know, will reflect up to the end of December, where I think it was through mid-December to where we are now that we've seen really the, you know, the bottom of the of load shedding, or the height of load shedding, whichever way you want to do that. And I think that the anger levels that are building up now are going to reflect. So this could be a delayed reaction, you know, the market just holding up for whatever reason. Others might be saying, okay, we'll overcome this, and somewhere down the line we'll get back to normality. I don't know. I'm deeply concerned that a lot of small and medium-sized businesses who cannot afford even to put petrol into their to their generators, I think they're going to start folding, and we're going to see a lot more weakness coming through. So, but in the meantime, the other businesses, you know, that I was mentioning, whether it's AB InBev or British American Tobacco, all those huge companies that make up the top end of the index are holding well, and you know, even as we speak now, Wall Street is picking up again. So there's quite some decent upward momentum. The surprise market has been Europe, where there've been some massive increases in the first two weeks of this year. You know, huge gains in some of the in a lot of the businesses there. So that's been giving us a very strong underpin.
Now, as I let you go, David Shapiro, I mean, Bloomberg releasing some copy on the presentation that the National Crisis Committee, had spoken about over the last few hours. This is to address the electricity crisis, with the president talking about enabling legislation, construction plans to mitigate the power crisis. I'm wondering, when investors look at this and they see the plans very quickly, I mean, do they even flinch for this, or do you wait for something concrete to happen?
I say it, I want to see government in overalls with screwdrivers or pliers in their hands, and that you want to see them actually doing something. They're not doing it. You know, I call it PowerPoint promises, you know, just a presentation that is empty of action. And I didn't say it, we heard it in the interview before. So I think people are fed up. They want to see actual action. They want to see people getting their hands dirty and, on their knees and getting their hands dirty and doing something. But, we've had it with promises.
Yep. All right, David Shapiro from Sasfin, thanks very much indeed for that wrap up the markets.